One morning, I went to the gym to do a spin workout. Nothing profound about that, just me, a stationary bike, and the hope that I'd survive 45 minutes of cardio. I grabbed a bike from the classroom I wanted to be in, moved it to a convenient spot closer to a table so I could set my phone down, and like I always do, I gave it a little shake, a quick test. It wobbled. Now, if you've ever used gym bikes, you know sometimes they're uneven. Someone adjusts a leg and the floor's a little off, whatever. So I thought, no problem, I'll fix it. Except the little knob on the leg that's supposed to fix it to be balanced right wasn't moving. I sighed, abandoned it, and grabbed a second bike. This time, a little smarter. I tested it before moving it. Solid, no wobble. Perfect, I thought. I rolled it to my preferred spot, put my hand on the handlebars, stepped towards the pedal, and it wobbled. All right, now I'm confused. I know it's early and I don't have caffeine, but I'm really sure that the bike wasn't wobbling like 30 seconds ago. So I try to fix this one. Same problem. Leg knob thing won't move. It doesn't even turn at all. At this point, I'm mildly annoyed and questioning my sanity. So I get a third bike because, as the saying goes, I'm fast if you give me enough time. And that's when it finally clicked. It wasn't the bikes, it was the floor. That specific patch on the floor where I wanted to set up, slightly uneven. Almost invisible, but enough to throw everything off balance. I moved the bike back to where it came from, perfectly stable. Moved it back to my ideal spot, wobbly again. And standing there in that spin room, I realized something that followed me to the shower and hasn't really left since. This wasn't about bikes. It was about environment. See, those bikes, they get adjusted all the time. They're stacked against a wall, then they're rearranged in a semicircle for class, different spots, different tiles, different levels. So of course someone adjusted the legs depending on where they're placed, because the tiles would be off depending on where they went. For 3 years, I've used those bikes and never once considered why they needed adjusting. They weren't broken. They were responding to where they were positioned. And suddenly it felt like the most obvious metaphor for life. Have you ever felt perfectly balanced in one season and then you move, new job, new city, new relationships, new project, and suddenly you're wobbly? You start thinking, what's wrong with me? I was doing great. I was stable. I had it all together. But maybe nothing's wrong with you. Maybe you just moved to a different part of the room. When we change environments, we often assume the instability means personal failure. We blame ourselves or we blame the opportunity. These bikes are terrible. This job is terrible. I'm terrible. But what if it's not about being terrible? What if it's just about readjusting? Recently, I've been considering taking a project at work, and it happens to be in another state for most of the week. It's travel, a new rhythm, different routine, and honestly, part of me doesn't want to do it. I like my systems, my habits, my comforts. I've spent years adjusting the legs of my life so they sit just right on this particular patch of the floor called Earth. And taking that project, it would mean wobbling again, at least for a time. It would mean tightening new knobs, loosening old ones, rebalancing a lot of things in my life. But here's what that spin room reminded me. Stability it's not permanent. It's practiced. Those bikes aren't stable because they were built perfectly. They're stable because someone keeps adjusting them as their environment changes. And that's what we do. Every few years, maybe, or even every few months, life moves on us. A new responsibility, a loss, a promotion, a risk, a dream we finally say yes to. And for a moment, we wobble. The key is not to panic in the wobble. The key is to recognize it. To say, new tile, new environment, time to adjust. Because if you don't realize it's the floor, you'll spend your life blaming the bike. You'll think every opportunity is flawed, every team is dysfunctional, every city is wrong, every version of you is inadequate. When really, you just haven't adjusted yet. Here's the encouraging part. If you've stabilized yourself one time, you can do it again. You've done it before. You've learned the job. You've healed from the breakup. You've figured out the move. You've rebuilt after the failure. You've adjusted the legs of your life before, and you can do it again. So whether I take that out-of-state project or not, the truth remains the same. Life, it's going to keep moving me from room to room. It's going to keep you moving too. There will be stable seasons. There will be wobbly ones. Neither means you're broken. It just means you're in a new spot. So if you're feeling off balance right now, don't assume there's something wrong with you. Look at your environment. Tighten what needs to be tightened. Loosen what needs loosening. Shift your weight and give yourself some time. Fix your wobble. Because we're not just talking about bikes. We're talking about building lives that can adapt to any floor we're placed on. And the more we practice adjusting, the less afraid we become of the movement. So, wherever life places you next, when it feels uneven, a bit wobbly, just remember this. You're not broken. You're adjusting.